Friends. Peace. My name is Mikkel White. I'm the pastor here at our South Lansing campus of Sycamore Creek Church. It's great to see you this morning.
It's great to be here with you.
Yeah. This is Bob Trout. Bob is co-hosting with me this morning.
Good. I like that.
Our message today is on our neighbors who are in the Rooted Flower Power segment.
Oh, cool, man. Okay.
Cool, man.
Like that.
Yeah. So Bob is helping us out with that a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you that you can answer. You can just shout out your answer to this. What do you listen to in the car? The radio. I listen to books. I can't get behind podcasts. I don't know.
YouTube music.
YouTube music? Yeah.
Okay, if it's making odd noises, I listen to that.
You listen to your car just in case it's breaking down. Yeah. All right. Well, would you stand with me as you're able? Let's sing together.
It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Dead man walking slave to sin. I want to know about being born again. I need you. Oh, God, I need you to take me to the riverside, take me under, baptize. I need you. Oh, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of the symphony in my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. It's like holy water on my skin. It's like holy water.
It's good to get kind of moving and celebrating this morning. First thing, it's a
Yeah.
fun song, right? I enjoy it. I love Caleb on the drums. He
Yeah, Caleb.
kills it. So great work, Caleb. Great work, Caleb. There's something really beautiful about singing together and being reminded of things that are true about us and things that are true about God. And one of the song we're going to sing now is "Great Are You, Lord," and it's this really beautiful, rich, deep song in a lot of ways. But I think one of the pieces that really sticks out to me is that it's God's breath in our lungs. Like the breath of God has been gifted to us, and we get to gift it
Amen.
back. Not just to God, but also to one another, right? When we sing, it's not just like us and God. It's like us in community with other people that we live life with throughout the week, right? We're not just breathing the breath of God back to each other on Sunday mornings, but we're doing it throughout the week through small groups and other spaces. And I just think that's a beautiful reminder, and hopefully expands our vision of what it means to live in response to God's love for us. So let's sing this together.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. And great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. And great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. And all the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord.
our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only.
All right, well, you can go ahead and take a seat. Kids, you are dismissed up to Kids Creek. Go have fun. Go have fun. It's going to be a good day. It's a great day. All right, so people, when they came in, you should have gotten a program. In that program is this thing. What do we call it, Bob?
This is a connection card, communication card.
This is a connection card. Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of opportunities.
It says connection card on this.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's called.
All right, pull that out. Go ahead and write your name on it. Write your contact information. If you're a first-time guest and you fill this out, we'll give you more instructions on what to do with it later, but you could get a free book.
Oh, wow.
That's exciting.
It is. And you can write anything you want on here. Anything you want. I've written all sorts of really
That's true. He likes to
interesting
write
stuff
jokes.
on here. So go for it. They like to see it in the office.
It's
here.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then pull out your cell phones. This is when we take selfies. We like to take selfies here. You can post them to your social media with the hashtag SCCMI. Bob's got us. There you go. There you go. Everybody say cheese to Bob.
Cheers to Bob.
Okay, this
That's
week's
funny. Okay.
selfie of the week is actually a collection of selfies. Last week was Father's Day. And so these are the father's selfies that we got last week. We've got Bob Trout, and we've got Lou Worthington, and we've got Bill Ames. And so those are our selfies of the week. If you are selected to be our selfie of the week, then you could get a Big B gift card in the mail.
How much? Like $50?
It's like $5.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good too. I like
but it's
it.
enough for most of a drink.
Okay. Most of a drink. You get black coffee.
It used to be enough for a whole coffee and maybe a drip coffee, maybe black coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this week we're continuing our series. We're in the series called Who is My Neighbor, where we're learning about who is actually our neighbor here in the community, who's around us. And this week we're talking about our rooted flower power neighbors. And if you don't know what that means, we're going to tell you.
Look at me.
But we have like a special guest. Nancy Dietrich is going to be bringing our message this morning. Give it up for Nancy. So a couple of things that we do here. One is we'll stop throughout our message for chat questions. And I'm telling you that now because our first segment of our message is going to be a video from Pastor Mark. He is our pastor of the Potterville campus. And so he'll get to the end of his segment and ask us a chat question. And you're going to turn to someone around you. If you're joining us online, you'll put it in the chat. And you'll just have about 90 seconds to talk about this chat question. And then you'll see Nancy and Bob back up here. So
It'll be one of your neighbors you'll be talking to about
yes,
stuff.
yes.
So.
You can say, who is my neighbor? And then talk to them.
Right.
Good. Okay. Our message this morning, it begins with this.
You want to be a good neighbor, and you're pretty sure that means loving your neighbor. But how? The first step to loving your neighbor is to know your neighbor. A quick demographic search yields graphs and charts and data that quickly become overwhelming. But behind every statistic, every bar graph, every number, there are very real people whose lives are full of needs, longings, and dreams. This 4-week series will explore how we can live out our values of being curious, creative, and compassionate when we ask, who is my neighbor?
Over the past year or so at the Potterville campus, we've baptized several young people. like Luke, who was baptized in the churchyard, and Naomi, who was baptized at our all-campus baptism service at Woldemar Nature Center. A reminder that all-campus baptism service at Woldemar is coming up again this year at the end of July. I love that Sycamore Creek ignites authentic life in Christ and fans it into an all-consuming flame in young people. In addition, in the Potterville campus, we've baptized or reaffirmed baptism with some folks who are, well, maybe more mature. These are people like Carolyn and Ruth and Karen and Kathy. And I love that Sycamore Creek ignites authentic life in Christ and fans it into an all-consuming flame in more mature folks too. At Sycamore Creek, the Holy Spirit is working in the lives of people who are younger and in the lives of people who are older. An important part of partnering with the Holy Spirit to transform lives is the type of church that Sycamore Creek is trying to be. We're working to live out our mission, both within the people who are part of Sycamore Creek and for our neighbors and our community, and for the people who may not call Sycamore Creek their church home. Thus, at Sycamore Creek, you'll encounter carefully thought out sermons, opportunities to learn and grow, and strong outreach into our communities. We're a church that doesn't just react with dismay to the things around us, but we seek to get involved. We want to make a difference. We're a church that works to do things about the problems of our community and our world. And that's a culture our church is working to create, because that culture connects with people who are younger, and it's a culture that connects with people who are a bit more mature. Now, one way we're working to be able to make this work is by reaching older people who like to be around younger people. You see, the thing about Carolyn and Ruth and Karen and Kathy is that they like to be around young people like Luke and Naomi. Now, if you consider Sycamore Creek your church home, then it's probably because what I'm describing about our church resonates with you in some way. At our best, we are a multi-generational church. And the culture of Sycamore Creek is rooted not just in who we are, it's also rooted in who we are trying to reach with the good news of God's love shown through Jesus. Now I'm going to have us pause a moment here for a chat question about the culture of Sycamore Creek and the church that we are trying to be. Here's our first question for discussion. What is one way that you've noticed Sycamore Creek working to make a difference? Let's take a moment and talk about that.
Okay.
So, hey,
All right,
we're
come on.
back. All right.
Great discussion.
So, Bob, one of the things I was thinking about when I think about like all the ways we make a difference, a few years back when I first started coming here, there was a bunch of people who went to the Mount Hope STEAM School, I'll get that right. And the place had not been painted like the hallways since like the 70s. It was very vintage. And so a bunch of people, we got there and prepped one day, and then the second day, community members and the neighborhood association showed up.
Right.
And there were so many people there that they did an extra add-on and painted the gymnasium. That's how many people. And it was so cool. And that had me all in sold for myself with Sycamore Creek because they made a difference. And they did a video with the kids coming in.
Oh, it was great fun.
And
Yeah.
you were there.
I was there,
yeah.
yeah.
We were all covered with paint, and it was fabulous
Super
to
duper.
do something for the neighbor right across the street. How about you, Bob?
Well, it's kind of the same stuff where you're helping out with the neighborhood. We have a group of folks here that help mow the lawn out here, which you say, oh, that sounds exciting. But it actually is nice because we provide a really nice outside appearance of the church, which isn't, the church is the people inside, but it's also the building we have. But then it also makes it attractive for people to want to come in. We've got the Wi-Fi that's offered outside, and I see a lot of folks that are just come by and use it all the time. So it's kind of nice that we're doing something to make that a nice thing that's welcoming.
Yeah, and we're your neighbors, and we want to hang out with you. So, well, great. So, all right. Well, I guess it's time, huh? So, good morning again. I'll switch up here. So as Mikkel mentioned, I'm Nancy, and I'm part of the teaching team here at Sycamore Creek, and I have the honor of sharing today's message. Now, I lost count of how many times Mark said mature in the audience. So I don't know. Do you feel that mature, Bob? I don't know. It's highly overrated. Anyway, so we're going to continue our series on Who is My Neighbor? And this series is rooted in Jesus' commandments. The most important ones are, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all of your mind, and all of your strength. And second, and equally important, love your neighbor as yourself. There's no other commandment that's greater than these. So when a religious expert heard that commandment and asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? So, well, that's a great question. So in this series, we're going to be exploring who is my neighbor, and we're taking a look at different demographic information. Those are all the percentages and the facts and the statistics, yay. And we're looking at our campuses and kind of trying to understand who our neighbors are. So that loving your neighbors, that's a very essential part of our mission here at Sycamore Creek, which is to ignite authentic life in Christ and fan it into an all-consuming flame. So let's take a look at how we can love our neighbors, and we're using the Sycamore Creek core values. You have the ever-popular curious, creative, and compassionate. But we're going to switch it up a little. We're still going to be curious, but we're going to bump up compassion a little bit and then bump creativity. They're all important. But we want to be curious as a church about who our neighbors are and be curious about who God has called us to reach. And we want to be compassionate today. So in light of the question, who is my neighbor, we want to be compassionate about their needs. To be compassionate, you need to know what people need and what they are hoping to get out of that kind of a relationship. And then, of course, creative, inviting specific people into be creative about their needs. We want to be creative about how we invite them into living out the mission of Sycamore Creek. So curious and compassionate and creative about our neighbors, that's great. But here's a reminder. There's a lot of people, okay? As key assumption is we can't reach everyone. They're different. We have different values and backgrounds and education and interests. And if you're trying to serve everyone, it's going to be very overwhelming. And it quickly, turns into, we can't serve anybody well. You're trying to do everything for everybody. So we can't be a neighbor to everybody. We're going to attempt to reach people that we need that focus. That's the key thing. We need to have some focus. So as a church, we need to know who we are, who the neighbors we're trying to reach. And so we're going to focus on the curiosity and the compassion and creativity with one particular segment. And this is the rooted flower power, okay? I promise by the end of this message, you are going to remember that label, okay? Hold me to that. Okay, got it? All right, so let me remind you how these groups are identified. There's psychographics, another fancy word, all the lifestyles and opinions and attitudes and personality traits of people. Data is collected by Experian. They know a lot about us. They track your purchases, so they know a lot about us, and they put this into categories called mosaic segments. And then Thomas G. Bandy, he is a demographer, theologian, author, and he works with churches. He takes that data and crunches it, and then he helps churches. So that's we're using his work as we are sort of sorting this out and thinking about this. All right, so again, we're going to focus on one mosaic segment, L42. Say it with me. Rooted, power, power. There we go. So we're going to be curious, compassionate, and creative with this one group of our neighbors because they are present and within our area. And so when you take a look at this demographic in about a 10-minute drive from campus, and okay, with construction, might be more like 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. So with South Lansing, you have 8.2%. So we got a lot of neighbors of that mature group who look like me, evidently. So Eastwood, 4.7, Potterville, 2.7. So with this group, there's a subgroup, okay? Are you ready for this one? Okay, the blue sky boomers, okay? All right. All right, so this is middle-class baby boomer-aged households living in small towns. Okay, there we go. There are a few of us out here, all right. And then the rooted flower power segment are baby boomer singles and couples rooted in established communities and around retirement age, okay? I really think they're talking about me. This is starting to sink in. So, Mikkel, is that maybe a little bit about why you asked me to give them method? Okay, there's a method to her madness, okay. So, it's one thing we're going to do is to get a little better picture of this group and what they're about. We're going to do a short skit because I got to liven up the data a little bit. And I am fortunate enough to have Bob and Shelley, who were not voluntold, at least I don't think they were. I asked nicely and gave them the right to refuse. So you guys come on up here, help me out, bring this data to life. All right. Okay, are you ready? So to set the scene, imagine that we're sitting on a park bench at Woldemar Nature Center, okay? We're waiting for a special outdoor service to begin. Okay, are you there? Okay, yep. Can you feel the sun on your face? The breeze. The breeze, maybe some birds are singing, okay, yeah. And this bench is under a large oak tree, so it's nice and shady, a wonderful place to have a conversation. So are you ready? And we go action, and here we go.
It's days like this that remind me why I love volunteering here. Just being surrounded by nature is so grounding.
Absolutely. It's like this place reflects the seasons of our lives. We've grown and changed so much, yet we're still rooted in our faith.
Yeah. And speaking of growth, I was reading a wonderful book about spiritual renewal. And it really made me think about how we can find new purpose, even as we approach retirement.
Right.
That sounds intriguing. I've been feeling a bit anxious about what comes next. I mean, we've dedicated so much of our lives to our family, to our work. Now, like, we're searching for new ways to make a difference.
I've been feeling that too. I wonder if sometimes if I've done enough, you know. Those lingering feelings of regret can be kind of hard to shake off.
That's true. But, you know, it's never too late to start something new. And our church has been a wonderful place for that. Think of all the outreach programs and the teams that we've been involved with. Yeah. We're making a real impact.
And we've got such a supportive community here. The preaching is always inspiring and the programs are well thought out. It gives us a place to use our skills and experience in meaningful ways.
Yeah, that is true. Plus, we get to pass on our values to our next generation. My grandchildren love coming here. It's a joy to see them engage in the church.
Absolutely. My granddaughter, she just joined the youth group here, and she's so excited about it. And it's moments like these that we know that we're really making a difference.
You're right. Maybe it's not just about what we've done, but what we're still doing and the legacy that we're leaving behind.
Well, as long as we keep smelling the roses and appreciating what we have, we'll find that sense of peace and fulfillment we're searching for.
So here's to new beginnings and continued growth.
Yay.
All right. Huge thank you to Bob and Shelley. They are amazing. See, we can make data fun, I'm just telling you. All right. So let's pull out some of the themes that are in the skit. And that's, again, the religious perspective of this group. They want to take the time to smell the roses, appreciate what they have, slow down, appreciate the beauty of the blessings in life that we have, and, of course, smelling the roses, and maybe, noticing a particularly gorgeous sunset. So these are the strengths of the Rooted Power Flower group here. So they are such an important part of our community, and this other part of the religious perspective notes that this group has spiritual issues. They have a deep spiritual issue, but they also have feelings of regret and anxiety about the meaninglessness and death. It's an opportunity for us to engage in compassion for this group of people. And it's totally normal to sift through all these complicated emotions. So this is an issue that I can really relate to. As some of you may have known, I've talked about that I just retired in January. I was at Lansing Community College for 44 years, and as part of a healthy, yay, okay. So it's, but I'll be honest, I had a lot of strong feelings, and some of you were there. Bob and Shelley were two people who were there deliberating with me, and just trying to, for me, it wasn't just about leaving a job, but it was a very overwhelming experience because you're leaving this community, this very fulfilling work that has given your life purpose as an educator. And there's that sense of loss that goes with it. And knowing that you're basically leaving a community of people who you really think of as your family. And so they were like my work neighbors. And so, there's a lot of that piece of it. And of course, you're going into the unknown as well. So if I'm being perfectly honest, I had a tough transition. And a lot of people talk about how great retirement is. Oh, you can fill your time with anything you want to do. You can travel. You can have all these awesome adventures. You can live life on your terms. Hey? Yep, sounds pretty good, huh? Okay, well, due to a number of life circumstances and the changing needs of my family and trying to balance some of these changing needs, retirement has not lived up to all that hype, okay? Now, there is a bright side. Even though things didn't work out quite as I imagined, and quite often is that kind of how life goes. You have this script in your head and it's all, yeah, okay, this is no different with this life chapter. So even though it didn't turn out like I expected, I found that I've been able to lean into my new retirement lifestyle. I've been more fully focused on the needs of my family without having to feel guilty about balancing family and work, because that's always, been a challenge and a struggle. And it's just been great to have that time and space to think and reflect on life, take the time to figure out what does retirement look like for me. And it's a life chapter that's still being written. And I'm learning, here's the word, I'm learning the patience of letting the story unfold at its own pace. So we boomers, we tend to look back on our lives and we're reflecting about this season of life. And part of that figuring out of what retirement looks like, we're also think and reflect about maybe mistakes that we've made. It's easy to sit and start rehashing all of that stuff, reliving the script of your life. and get stuck in some of that. It's a huge transition. And we're going from being, our lives are being defined by our work, and now we're transitioning to our lives being defined by other things. So that, again, it's a huge reality check when you get to that side of it and go, wow, there's something to this. Okay, so here are some characteristics of, say it with me, rooted flower power. Okay, they bring our neighborhoods, our communities, our church. They are relatively active in the church. Okay, Bob mentioned all kinds of cool stuff he's been working with, yeah. They might be seasonal in attendance. I have noticed that certain times of the year when the weather gets cold, some of you just aren't here in person very much, okay? Who are those? Yeah, I won't call you out, just kidding. The quest for quality programs. We, trying to be creative and compassionate, coming up with things that will meet the needs, and that's something that's very important. They value excellent preaching. No pressure there. They like to participate in boards and committee leadership. They have a lot of skills to bring to the table. And they also value advocacy and outreach. Those are some very important things. So this segment of people, they tend to be firm in their faith and relatively active in church. They may have worked in education or health care, social service, civil service, maybe accounting, small business kinds of things. And they are looking for that opportunity to put their skills to use. And that's a very valuable lifestyle to have in our church because they love to volunteer and they love to be recognized and appreciated for volunteering. And I would probably ask Mikkel about how many volunteers you all rely on to run this place and to put on a service on any given Sunday, or every Sunday, really. But they're such good volunteers that they often volunteer in the community as well. And that is a really powerful connection. That's the strength that you get from volunteering in the church and in the community brings together those neighborhoods in a very special way. So we're going to take a moment to contemplate on what we have in common with that lifestyle. So we're going to do the chat again, turn to a neighbor, and we're going to discuss the question. The Rooted Flower Power segment values things like excellent preaching, volunteering, and taking time to smell the roses and to appreciate what you have. So which of those values resonate with you, and why or why not? Okay, so Bob, what resonates with you about this?
Well, what resonates was, like you mentioned also, that Mark mentioned about, had really some struggle with the older thing there. I like less young as far as a term for folks like us.
Vintage, seasoned,
yes.
yeah.
But about this question, we were talking about how all these parts resonate a bit. Is that I had a discussion with Elvia, my wife, just yesterday, and we were talking about how she'd like to have more stuff done around the house, which is fine. It's great. There's some productivity there, but really I have this great sense of I need to get this balance between the volunteering, which I just love to do, and then the working in the garden. I like gardening a lot, and it's a nice way to relax and stuff, but also the puttering around the house. So, but I really like the garden. It just makes me just feel so relaxed and just kind of where I need to be.
Yeah,
with God.
and you do a lot of volunteering here as well. So just
we all do our
finding
part,
that we do our part. We love to do that. That's So
How about you?
yeah, I would say that the take time to smell the roses part. Just having retired and coming, my job was, shall we say, very intense, and the pace of it and stuff. And so to just sort of throttle down a little bit and to take the time and give myself the space, and maybe I don't have to be 110 miles an hour busy all the time. That's kind of whoa. So pulling it in, and it's okay not to have it all figured out. It's okay to take some time and just do those things that can help you kind of rejuvenate.
We got to feel really good about what we do.
Yeah.
And that mix of things is so important to figure out. So,
right.
Cool.
So, well, great. Well, we'll go on with the message, and I'll run up the stairs here. Don't trip. Okay. So I already mentioned that the greatest commandments are identified by Jesus. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength. And the equally important, love your neighbor as yourself. So no other commandment is greater. And we're focusing today on who? Rooted flower power. And we want to love them better. And I strongly believe that in order to love someone, we really need to know them. We need to know what their needs and kind of, what is important to them. So to illustrate this point, the Israelites were in exile. They were captive in a foreign country, and Jeremiah prophesied, "And work for the peace and prosperity of the city where I sent you into exile. Pray to the Lord for its welfare is your welfare." That's the important part. Its welfare is your welfare. And that sounds a little bit like you get out of it what you put into it. So when you're going to go in and embrace a neighborhood wherever we're living, we can work for peace and prosperity in our neighborhood and in our community. And that was the message to the Israelites. And it still applies to all the flower power neighbors. And unless we know how to show them compassion and mercy, then we're not going to succeed in what we're doing. Okay, so now the next part, you're going to say this with me here, it gets longer. The rooted flower power blue sky boomer neighbors. Okay, now what? These labels seriously are cracking me up. Somebody had a lot of fun coming up with them, I'm sure. So as you continue to picture this group in your mind, and maybe it helps to think of the skit to kind of remember what's important. This group tends to love brand name or historic churches that are somewhat liberal. They practice strong accountability for ethical behavior and for high quality programs. They appreciate that Sycamore Creek is part of a historic established denomination with the United Methodist Church. And one of the other things they like about this denomination is that the UMC produces pastors that tend to have higher level degrees. So for example, Pastor Tom and Pastor McKell, they have their Masters of Divinity degree. Did I get that right, McKell? That's a tongue twister too. Pastor Mark, he has a PhD. And so the Rooted Flower Power segment, they appreciate pastors who are solidly orthodox in their faith. So we've got that covered, right? And who are active in the social causes. I definitely think we got that one covered as well. So as you continue to picture the group, don't limit them too much in your mind. While they value the values of predictability, stability, the heritage, they're still very open to new ideas. And for those of you who've been around Sycamore Creek for any length of time, you'll notice that we love to experiment with things and come up with new and different ways of doing things. And we like to play with that historical and traditional piece of it, but also maybe bring out new expressions of that so that we can, have that blended together. And so this group is supportive and active in efforts like this. So I'd be missing something if I didn't mention how much this segment values family. That's a very common theme. But there's a tension at times with this group because they love their family, but their children often are not part of the church. And that can cause a lot of tension, concern. It can just be hard for them to see that disconnect with the church and the faith they love and the children and family they love, and not seeing that kind of come together. So this connect can be a deep source of pain for people, and it's a place for us to be compassionate and to be aware of. Now this group, they'll bring their grandchildren. I know we've seen some grandchildren coming here to worship whenever they can. This group also typically drives, so they may be stopping off on the way to pick up the grandkids to come. So they're working on that next generation as best they can. So what connects this group in terms of church space, okay? They appreciate a well-maintained church building and a space for conversation. I have to hand it to like Jason, Thomas, and their crew, the labor of love that goes into maintaining an aging building. They always take my call on Saturday mornings if I'm here volunteering, and the toilet flush, but it won't stop flushing, or there's a leak coming in, and to know that work is appreciated, because this is something this group, and I think all the groups really value that. They're looking for excellence in many ways. Again, they are looking for recycling and caring for the environment is very important. You might notice in our restrooms we have the little bins that say, the reusable or the recyclable brown hand towels. Shelley Mull is here every week. You don't see it. She's here every week collecting that stuff up to take it in. And she's a team of people who are passionate about the recycling and coming up with brown paper towels that can be recycled. So these are things that, we care about as a church and that we all work on. So they're concerned about pollution, global warming, corporate ethics, healthcare, human rights, family values, of course. If there's a natural disaster, this group is the place showing up for those relief and recovery efforts. They are there. They want to help and be a part of it. So, and again, the friendship and face-to-face connections is essential for this group. So it would love to serve together. I can attest to that. I just love serving with all the awesome people here. They like to recreate together, meet together. They like spaces that preserve the classic church architecture in the sanctuary. They love stained glass windows. So you might be noticing that this is a bit different perspective than the singles and starters that we talked about last week. So what do? We try to find ways to blend that. You will notice that in the worship space, you got the comfy seats here, and those seats are pretty comfortable. But, and we have, bold colors in the front and the back, to try to make it colorful. But we also have these beautiful traditional pews that are here, and we have, this really inviting kind of space. And we do have the stained glass, of course. So we've kept some of those features, but how to kind of blend some of that together so that we can make the best use of this space. Now, our mingling space that is outside the worship space, you might have noticed that is intentionally set up to be able to bring together conversations and small gatherings of people. In fact, we even call it the Connection Cafe. So that's kind of baked into who we are and creating space that helps us live out that mission. And so with all of that cool stuff, the old church bell, remember the days when you ring the bell on Sunday morning? We have the bell. It is in the front of the building, and it's got this nice water feature to it. So we've taken that and are giving a nod to that history and so forth. And it wasn't that long ago that front area was renovated, and Bob had mentioned that. We've created this courtyard, and it's an inviting place for people who are passing by. They're waiting for the bus. It just looks nice, and it has space, and we have, as you mentioned, your Wi-Fi connection and stuff. So our neighbors can use that anytime, all throughout the week. It's a very intentional way that we want to be a part of the neighborhood and figuring out what things are meaningful to the neighborhood. And so we want this welcoming space for all of our neighbors. So as we contemplate the characteristics of the rooted flower power, are you with me? Okay. I suspect that there are people you already know who've gotten to understand a bit through the demographic data, and they may be neighbors who are part of Sycamore Creek, but they may be neighbors who don't consider Sycamore Creek our church. So this group might even be you, as I have come to realize. So as we engage in the rooted flower power neighbors with curiosity and compassion and creativity, let's remind us one more time that loving our neighbor is an essential part of our mission, which is to ignite authentic life in Christ and fan it into an all-consuming flame. And as we work to fulfill the mission, that one group of neighbors that we're going to invest in and we're going to invite, who are they? Rooted flower powers. I know you get this down. Okay, so they're present within us and around us, and so we hope that we've been better able to understand today why Sycamore Creek might appeal to these neighbors. So let's go out and live out the greatest commandments of Jesus. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all of your strength. And you're going to love your neighbor as you love yourself. No other commandment is more important. So as you engage people from the rooted flower power, okay, remember that label now. Okay, we're not only following the command of Jesus, but we are furthering the mission of Sycamore Creek. So now we're going to wrap up with a video that shares a little bit about how we can connect with one another. So take it away, Carol.
Grab your stuff. Kids of all ages, for summer camp style announcements, get ready to make new friends this summer by filling out your connection card. Just write down your name and email and pass it on down to the blue buckets by your seat, or fill it out online at sycamore-creekchurch.org/connect. Let's all write down one thing we're excited about for this summer on the back and take a next step, like inviting your friends. Okay, now that we're all ready to begin, I'll throw the ball to you, and you tell me your favorite thing about attending a pastor in a pub event at Arts Pub at 7 p.m. There's one coming up this Wednesday, June 26th, with good conversation, snacks, and a free drink for first-time guests. One of our favorite counselors, Star Lalone, is finishing up her last few days here at Camp Sycamore Creek, South Lansing, running the Kids Creek program. So let's make sure to head to the Connection Cafe next week on June 30th after worship to celebrate her, tell her how much her work in Kids Creek has meant to us in Sycamore Creek, and say goodbye as she plans to attend church with her husband, David. And it's time to celebrate, campers. In July, we'll worship in Woldemar Nature Center all month long with all 3 Sycamore Creek campuses. We'll conclude with a baptism service on July 28th. Your giving makes everything we do possible at Sycamore Creek, from creative and silly announcements to worshiping together out in the community. You can continue to give at sycamore-creekchurch.org/give in the blue buckets by your seat, through mail, through the app, and other options. It's easier than ever to choose which campus and where your giving is going. Check it out online at sycamore-creekchurch.org/give. Let's take it back to the worship space and see what your giving has done this week.
All right, go ahead and pull that connection card back out. Flip it over. These are some ways that you can respond to this week's message. We have next steps here. So this is just sort of like your own intention. This is what I want to do because of what I've heard, because of what we've talked about. You can read and reflect on the demographic data. You can reach out to someone that you know who's part of this segment and connect with them. Or you can invite someone to join you at Waldemar in July. So, and you can also write, if there's something you've got going on in your life and you're like, I really would like to connect with someone. I want someone else to know what's going on. I could use some support. Write that on the prayer request lines. We have a team of people who would love to be praying for you and supporting you in whatever it is that you're going through.
Okay, so has everybody filled one out? Okay, so we fill these out. Everybody fills them out. Everybody takes. If you fill them out 100 times already, we've been here. Fill them out because, you don't want to be the one that says, if we only had the new people do it, everybody would be watching them. So, everybody pulls them out, and then everybody want to do them. It's really fun to put what you need on here. So anyway,
and then drop that in the blue bucket.
I do. Okay.
The blue bucket's at the end of your row. That's where you put that.
Super.
All right. So this week we've got something going on Wednesday.
What is that? That happens to be the Pastor in the Pub. Now, I love going to those. You get to sit around and have a soft drink or a beer and have some snacks and stuff. And I haven't been able to make it lately. It's really fun to kind of sit out and chew the fat with you. And is that an old term? I think chew the fat.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, it's probably an L42 rooted flower power term.
It's an L42
yes.
phrase. So, I know what it means, but I would never say it. No.
Okay. Okay. That's another story. Those are fun. I haven't been able to meet it because we have some other small groups on Wednesdays and stuff, but it's nice to go to those. So it's kind of fun to just kind of sit around and enjoy McCall's company and other people. So
it is a lot of fun. In July, we will not be in this building.
For the whole month?
For the whole month. Do not come to this building in July. We're going to be at Waldemar Nature Center in the barn. So we will have people directing you where to go. All three of our campus, our South Lansing campus, our Potterville campus, our Eastwood campus, we'll all be there together.
Will we have a sign on the door? Will there be reminders for us not to show up here?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you accidentally show up and you're like,
great.
Where is everybody? There will be a sign on the door to tell you you should go to Waldemar Nature Center, and you'll just be a few minutes late, and that will be okay.
Has anybody not been out at Waldemar? That's just a wonderful place. We usually go out there, you sit around. It's like the little scenario we had here. You sit, if you can find a tree to sit under, it's great. But it's still very nice if you're outside before you're inside. It's great too. But then, like Elby and I, my wife, we go out for a hike afterwards. And enjoy the park. So it's wonderful.
It's good. It's good. We have a few ways that you can give financially here at Sycamore Creek. You can scan this QR code with your phone. You can go to this website. You can pull out your envelope and drop something in the blue bucket. However you choose to give, we're really thankful for all the giving. Your giving helps make things possible here at Sycamore Creek. We're celebrating this week. We had some volunteers who volunteered at Juneteenth last weekend. We didn't get any pictures. So this is one that we took from Juneteenth's Facebook page, but we're really thankful for the opportunity to be able to participate in this celebration. We want things like this to happen in our community, and so we show up to help make sure they happen again in the future. And so we're celebrating that this morning.
I like ice cream. I didn't get to go to it, but maybe next year.
Maybe
we'll
next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Would you stand with me? Let's sing together. First, I have a question. Would you rather have a food fight or a water balloon fight?
Water balloon.
That's the consensus, I think, food. Water balloon.
But how often do you get to have a food fight? I mean, think about the thing you could throw.
All right.
Well, I searched the world, and it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together.
My failures and flaws, Lord, you see them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
This next song we're doing is one we haven't done since I've been here. We've been here like about 2 years, and it's a fun song. It might provide an opportunity for some clapping. It has a pretty solid beat to it. But I was struck today by just a reminder of the mission of the church, right? And I'm gonna butcher it. I'm sorry, Barb. So, you're right. The all-consuming flame part is what's really driving me, right? Or remembering this, because this song is called "Soul on Fire," and it's just this cool invitation that we have to be responding to God and God's love for us with everything that God has given to us and created us to be. So, yeah, sing this together. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm running for your ways. I'm waiting for the days till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the days till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, restore the joy I had. I have wandered, bring me back. In this darkness, lead me through. Till all I see is you. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the days till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, let me burn for you again. Let me return to you again. Lord, let me burn for you again. Let me return to you again. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the days till I am a soul on fire. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire.
Wow. Thank you for joining us this morning. I hope that you'll come back next week. We're concluding our series with a message on who are our unique neighbors. So until then, be curious, compassionate, and creative. Go in peace, friends.